What's up, everybody? I'm Guapo. He's Little Guapo, and this is the Not Your Average Mark Wrestling Podcast. Son, what's up?
Hola, hola. Not a whole lot. What's going on with you?
Oh, just doing this whole podcast thing. It's been a rough couple of weeks in the wrestling world, but we are here to fire it up, get everything back to positive notes. So you might notice that Baby Bruss not sitting here with us. He's doing the whole college slash work slash he's in a musical now thing. So
Yeah,
he'll be
he's gonna be MIA until at least like mid-October. So
yeah.
that's just what it is.
That's all right though, because we've got a few things set up to keep him in the loop. Of course, as always, we're going to start with some thank yous. Thank you to Ross and the boys from Labor 12 for our intro music. Track's called Head Rush, album's called Monsters. Absolute bangers.
Bangers.
So I'm looking in the chat. Want to say what's up to Camino. What's up, Rick? J Rib. We got Josh, J Conrad Photography.
If Camino's talking about Bruss being tomorrow's future, we're in trouble. We are in trouble, ladies and gentlemen.
We might be in a little bit. Mikey joining us in the chat as well. Glad to see you here. So we're going to do a couple of quick little things here. Did you get a chance to see any of All In?
I saw a little bit. The Jericho match. I hated the concept of it, but it was better than I thought it was going to be. I'm not going to say it was great. Of course, all of it overshadowed by this. I wouldn't even say it's CM Punk drama, but everybody's saying CM Punk drama when obviously it's Danny Masterson drama.
Yeah.
Do you notice that does Jungle Boy Jack Perry not look like Danny Masterson? Is he not like long-haired Danny Masterson? Is that not what it is? Every time I see him, it's like that's Danny Masterson.
No, I'll give you that. He does have that whole Danny Masterson look about him. All in all, I was impressed. It was a good show. It wasn't what I was expecting. I hate to put it this way, but it didn't live up to the hype for me for selling 80,000 seats at Wembley.
Yeah, and I think they're just completely really silly to do a pay-per-view again, to do All In and then All Out this next weekend. I think that's kind of silly, but it's obviously I think you need like a little calm down period from All In, and just because of All In and the things it did, All Out's going to be very underwhelming.
No, and I agree wholeheartedly. And I don't know what they're thinking there, especially seeing as we have Payback on Saturday. But
yeah,
I'll say what's up real quick. Moneybags in the chat. Welcome to the show. Glad you could join us.
My dog.
Josh, J Conrad Photography in the chat, making a very good point here and saying after seeing Bruss's dance video, he's scared to know what kind of acting Bruss is doing. So
you get used to he's like a promiscuous king, and all he's doing the whole time is like he's mute and chasing women around. That's all he does.
Okay, so he's not even having to act. That's cool.
Exactly. I don't know. That boy is nowhere close to mute. Hold on. That boy's not even slightly mute. But
we got Mikey in the chat talking about that being a nice graphic, and it is a good-looking graphic because, as you know, in the show live tonight, we've got the living proof, Jastin Taylor. Wanted to say thank you to Mikey and Dez for putting that together. It's an awesome graphic. If you got graphic needs, make sure you get with them. They can get you taken care of. So we're going to do, because I'm excited to get into some talking with Jastin, but we're going to do a quick little rapid fire Payback prediction here. So I'm going to throw a match at you and you tell me what you think.
Okay.
Starting off, we've got Miz versus LA Knight.
I hope that this to go on longer. So I feel like LA Knight has to win because of what The Miz has been saying, but I think The Miz should win and keep this little thing going because this is some of the best like mic work we've seen. Man, the promo on Raw that the Miz cut. Oh my gosh,
It was fire.
it was amazing. Yeah, like literally, he poked a hole in like every flaw LA Knight has. Like just pointed it out completely, and it was really really cool. But I think LA Knight's going to end up winning it.
Well, I talked to Bruce and got his picks as well. He's going for the Miz in this one. Thinks the Miz is going to pull this one out. And I can see where he comes from on that. Me personally, you already know. Do I know who's going to win this one? Yeah, of course I do. It's going to be LA Knight.
Yeah, I'd be happy with either one to win, but I think LA Knight will win.
The guy going Miz as well, so we got a split here. Next match, we've got Ray versus Austin Theory for the U.S. title.
Probably, I bet Ray retains. And there's going to be some sort of interference from Santos and Grayson Waller, maybe somewhere along those lines. But I bet Ray retains because I think it'd be cool to go into this whole dissension between him and Santos Escobar storyline.
Well, Bruce has got Austin Theory winning this one, and the reason for that is it's going to set up Austin Theory and Santos Escobar.
Yeah.
Which I can see. Me personally, I've got Ray because I think it's going to go to Ray and Santos and kind of go down that rabbit hole for a minute.
I think you just tell a better story going down that way. But that's me personally.
We have after that a Steel City Street Fight for the tag titles. We got Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus Finn Balor and Damian Priest.
I think while I think they need to drop the titles, I don't think it's right now. I think KO and Sammy are going to win.
I feel the same way. I think KO and Sammy keep him until Survivor Series, and Bruce feels the same way. Camino in the chat says, as far as the Ray match, that it needs to be unified with the NXT North American title, and it's going to become the first ever Northern Hemisphere title.
Fair. I mean, it's not wrong. Yeah.
So after that, we've got Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez for the Women's World Championship.
I think it's going to be a banger match, but Rhea Ripley's going to win. She's not losing anytime soon.
No, I feel the same way. And if she does, it's going to be a Tuesday night in Texas kind of scenario where if she does lose it on Saturday, she'll get it back on Monday.
Yeah. Something like that. She's not going to lose it for sure. Not anytime soon. They took too much time building her up. It's going to be a Mania thing if she loses, I feel like. But
I think you're probably that or maybe even Rumble, but I'm kind of Bruce has got Rhea retaining. I too have Rhea retaining. It's going to be Rhea Ripley.
Yep.
Becky Lynch versus Trish Stratus in a steel cage.
Becky Lynch.
Well, and I've got to throw it out there because he said it before we started. The guy making it very clear that it better be Trish Stratus.
Yeah. Well, Trish has had a lot of losses in this little feud that they've had too, so it wouldn't surprise me if they did have Trish win. But I think Becky will win. Would not be surprised if Trish did.
I've got to go with Becky on this one, as does Bruce. I think this whole thing has been set up for Trish to not only put Becky over, but to put her protege over as well. I don't think it's set up for Trish to make another run. Well, by all means, thank you, Trish, but
yeah,
I think Becky's got this one. And then, of course, our final match of the night will be Seth freaking Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the World Heavyweight title.
Well, I love what they're doing with Shinsuke Nakamura right now. Seth Rollins is winning. I don't think they're putting. I absolutely love what they're doing with Shinsuke, and I hope they have him come out to a badass entrance, and I think the match itself is going to be great. and hopefully they go a little longer with it. It'd be cool. But Seth Rollins is going to win. Now, will he walk out of the night champion? I don't know. Maybe they'll do a little cash in or something. But Shinsuke's not winning. I don't see a cash in happening either. But you never know.
I don't see the cash in. Bruce, disagreeing with you. He's got Shinsuke down for this one. He thinks maybe Seth needs a little time off.
Okay. It wouldn't surprise me, the circumstances that have recently happened.
Yeah, so I feel like that could be it. Camino and Mikey both saying Damian Priest walking out as champ. Judgment Day sweep.
Yeah, I could see it happening. That would be because then Priest would be a tag champ and the world champ, right? The match is for the tag titles, ain't it? Yeah,
it sure is. So I mean, I could see the storylines that come from a Judgment Day sweep. That could be all right.
They definitely should split the titles again. All these tag teams they have going on.
Oh yeah.
I mean, SmackDown, they've got a bunch going on over there. They got, the Viking Raiders and all this stuff going on Raw. Now you got, what they call it? Mac Riddle.
McRiddle.
Yeah.
I can't with that.
New Day's back. Yeah, I mean.
Well, and the guy before the podcast said he thought Priest was going to get it too. So I don't know. We may have to see how that turns out. I think that could be good. But see, can we talk about this McRiddle thing for a second? Because this is just I can't with this.
I still think it's setting up. I mean, especially on Monday with the chair throw. It was very deliberately straight at Xavier Woods' face. Just no aiming for Ivar or whatever his name is. It was straight for Xavier Woods' face.
Oh, it was. And
I definitely see this whole psychopath coming to fruition here, and I hope so.
So for those in the chat, and yes, Sarah, if I'm talking to you, for those in the chat that don't know what we're talking about here, so Drew McIntyre and Matt Riddle have been teaming up here recently, and so they've come up with a name. Well, they didn't come up with it. The New Day came up with the name for them. And you've got Drew McIntyre and you've got Matt Riddle, so why not call him McRiddle?
This is like what Riddle was made for. This scenario right here.
It is. It's exactly what Matt Riddle was made for.
Yeah, he cracked me up with when Drew McIntyre said that they're going to take care of the Viking Raiders next week, and he just walked off, and Kofi was like, "What did he say?" He's like, "Or what is he talking about?" He's like, "I'm not sure, but he said we're a team," and then just walked off. I was like, "Oh,
we're a team." That's great.
Yeah, good stuff.
It was good stuff. Really, the only other thing I wanted to bring up from this week in wrestling is came from last night on Dynamite. Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara getting back together, getting the band back together, going after some tag team titles now. So interested to see how that turns out. I like to see them back together again, but I really see this playing out into a turn. I really do.
See, and it just doesn't make sense to me either with the whole, at the end of All In, you had FTR trying to shake the Young Bucks' hand, and they just walked out of the ring. And then a week later at All Out, you have the Young Bucks and FTR teaming against Bullet Club Gold.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. But I do like that the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn with the new belt. They're pretty cool. I mean, they're cool. They fit. Yeah, they fit them. It's not like that belt's gonna go. Whoever wins it next isn't gonna get it. But
Mike in the chat talking about Xavier being injured. I actually read that today that he's week to week. Got a neck injury, I believe it was.
The crazy world of wrestling.
I'm saying. Speaking of the crazy world of wrestling, we've got some independent wrestling right here in West Texas going on this month. And we're going to go through it backwards because, that's what we do.
Not this month, next month.
Excuse me.
Yeah. Month. All right. Yeah. Get it right.
It's close enough to September. All right.
Well, only counts in hand shoes. Horseshoes and hand grenades. Sorry.
Hand shoes and horse grenades, huh?
Yeah.
That's our new hashtag, by the way. Hashtag,
Hand shoes.
hand
Hand
shoes and
shoes.
grenades. All right, so September 16th at Jake's, Squared Circle Pro presents Birthiversary, and man, this card is gonna be great. I'm just gonna run over a couple of matches, and we're being told in the chat from Rick that more matches will be announced tomorrow. But what we know about right now, we've got a steel cage match featuring Damo McCullough, Bam Bam Malone, and Nolan Phillips going against Phoenix and Aaron Harms. Phoenix absolutely livid at the last show over Nolan Phillips getting involved. So now Nolan's got nowhere to go. He's going to be inside the steel cage.
Yeah, they ain't getting away this time. There's no nut punch, nothing that's going to get him out of this besides getting out of the cage.
Yeah, and Lord help that man if Phoenix gets his hands on him, because that's going to turn ugly real quick.
Yep.
We also have a strap match featuring Cesar Torres and JC Bravo. The boys from Los Carnales have a little family feud going on, and we thought we were getting the end of it at the last show at Headlocks and Heat Waves, but Cesar Torres not acting like he should, and JC let him know about it. You know.
Yeah, no, I know. I was right there. I heard it. Loud and clear. Heard the strap hit his back, and I heard him say some pretty explicit words there in the corner right there in front of us.
Yeah, and I'm seeing in the chat from Rick that Emilio Guzman going to be there with JC Bravo.
Okay.
So interested to see how that goes. And of course, where JC Bravo goes, the Chancla goes. So fear the Chancla. Looking at it, we've also got our Squared Circle Pro Championship match, which I can't be any more excited about. We've got Ryan Justice against LC Mox against the one and only Fuego del Sol. All three of these guys in the ring, same time, ready to go.
It's going to be nonstop. It's going to be just nonstop action. That's three high-profile guys right there that are just going to be bouncing around the ring.
But will it be total nonstop action?
No, it's going to be all right.
Sorry,
All
I had to
right.
put that out there.
All right.
I'm looking over here in the chat, and I think we actually just had some news dropped on us, because Rick says the Squared Circle Pro Heck Yeah Radio iPay-per-view championship, Gino Rivera versus Chris Watson.
Man.
Yeah. This close.
Chris Watson had him, if it weren't for Paul of Fate.
I'm saying Chris Watson was this close. Paul of Fate runs in, hits him in the back of the head with the chair, costs Gino the match, but of course you don't lose the belt on a disqualification. So,
well, he will this time.
I'm just saying this.
It was made. If they interfere, he loses the title. So,
yep. So this is going to be a straight up fight, and I'm there for it. I'm about it. So, lots of good matches, and of course, more matches being announced tomorrow. So make sure you're checking out the. Wait, we have another one here. Our guest tonight, Jastin Taylor, going against Nate Collins. That's going to be a good match. There's not been a single time that I've seen Jastin Taylor in the ring that I haven't been impressed. This guy is all go all the time. And Nate Collins, I haven't had a chance to see as much of him as I have Jastin, but what I have seen from Nate Collins, he's a fighter, man. He's ready to go. So
I've been looking forward to it.
That's going to be a good one. We may be getting a whole card now. Hold on now. Rick throwing it out there for us. We're getting the Defender of Truth, Gabriel Alexander, going against Lau. Now, if you've been watching, you've noticed, we have Sean Lau, but there's been kind of the change as of late in Sean Lau, and this new persona that's come about, this new I don't even know what to call it. This thing that's taking over Sean Lau. We're just calling him Lau, but he's got he spits the blood. And he has got it out for Gabriel Alexander, and it's gonna be a match to see for sure.
Oh yeah, that's another guy that's always every time I've seen him has impressed me. Super athletic, crazy to watch.
Absolutely. So, we've got another one popping up here. Anastasia Morningstar facing the winners of Skylar Slice and Reza Clark and Misty Marks versus Olivia Vagos in a triple threat. Okay. So we've got.
Okay, I see. So 3 matches announced in that one. That one message there. A triple threat match: Skylar Slice versus Reza Clark and Misty Marks versus Olivia Vagos. And then whoever wins those 2, triple threat with Anastasia Morningstar.
And Anastasia Morningstar, I'm gonna tell you what, like I had never seen her wrestle until we started. We went. I believe she was at our first Square Circle Pro show we went to, and she ain't no joke, man. That girl comes to fight. She doesn't come to wrestle. She doesn't come to say hi. She doesn't come for anything. She comes to fight.
Yeah, Bruce didn't boo her.
No, but no, I don't think any of us did. Rick saying that's it for tonight. Man, oh man, what an announcement on some of these matches. Cannot wait. And of course, you can catch all of these on September 16th at Jake's Backroom, Birthiversary. Do not miss it. Now,
be there at E Square.
That's on the 16th, but before that, on the 9th, BCW presenting Live to Rise at the TMW Event Center. That, of course, at 202 Avenue H in Levelland, Texas. And
First Responder Appreciation Show.
Exactly. Just what I was fixing to say. This is our First Responder Appreciation Show. I have to say that first responders hold a special place with us here at the podcast. There's going to come a time I'm going to tell the story as to why they sit so heavy in my heart. But you're going to want to make your way out to this one. We're showing our appreciation. We're showing love to the first responders. And you've heard us talk about the last couple of times we've mentioned this, that there's a VIP package you can pick up. It's $30. You get your ticket to the show. You get in 30 minutes early. You get an event T-shirt. You get a BCW window sticker, and you're going to end up with a free car wash. So
I think Mike said that like a couple weeks ago, it's like a $75 value, $30. I mean, I think you're silly to not invest in this.
Well, and I know what some people are saying. Some people are saying, man, I sure would like to get that right now, but then I got to buy another one for my girl, and that's like $60. But no, it's not, because tonight and tomorrow, you can get a VIP 2-pack. 2 VIP packages for $50. You're not going to beat that.
Wow. That's crazy.
There's just no way to beat that.
And you get 2 of them for $50 at, $75, that's $150 for $50. What are you doing?
And of course, you're going to want to be here. What does that $50 for a 2-pack get you? It gets you this card right here. You've got Jeb, the wild card Bingham, going against Gabriel Alexander. We've got Damo McCullough going against Emilio Guzman. Lucha Dad going against your very favorite Scar.
He gonna handle it. We know what's up.
Oh, so give me your call on that, son. Where are you at on that? Is Lucha Dad finna take out Scar? Is Scar gonna get the bear hug on it, or what's gonna happen here?
I mean, if he got the bear hug on me, it wouldn't matter. But I don't know about Lucha Dad, but he wouldn't do it to me. I promise you that.
Oh, so you're saying Scar wouldn't do that to you, huh? All right, then. Scar, if you're listening, you heard that. He got nothing for you. We got our boy, speaking of Scar, and I'm maybe bringing up a sore subject here, judging from the promo that he put out, but Mac to Franchise going against TJ Slater. That's going to be a match, man.
Yeah, banger. Jeez.
TJ Slater, of course, just
Does not he don't think he has to fight. No, he's entitled. You know what I mean?
he is a bit entitled, and Mac the franchise looking to bring him down a notch or two.
I hope so. He needs to handle that.
And then, of course, we've got a night in the spotlight with Logan Knight, and Logan finding out a couple of weeks ago that Aaron Harm's going to be his guest. And he had a few choice things to say about that, and even more choice things to say about Rick.
Mike.
What was that?
He said Mike, not Rick.
Oh, yeah, it was Mike. I'm sorry. I had a few choice things to say about Mike. Sorry, I was reading over here. Of course, we've got wild card Jeb Bingham in the chat. Champ, what's up? Glad to have you here. It's going to be a great match. Seeing you and Gabriel go at it.
You retaining. You know what it is. Mikey
saying that Mac may possibly be the Rampage Wrestling champion by Live to Rise. That's right. If I'm not mistaken, he's got a match Saturday. And I don't know if it's this Saturday or next Saturday. But he's got a match coming up for the Rampage Wrestling Championship as well. So we may see an extra belt make its way into the TMW Event Center.
Oh, he deserves it.
We've got – what's that?
So he deserves it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely he does. It's this Saturday. Mike told me in the chat here. We've also got Brian Rage Rivera, Baby Samoa, and Phoenix going against Guerrilla Militia. They, of course, being Big Said, Justin James, and our guest from last week, Franco D'Angelo. And
it's crazy to me because we talk about, Phoenix and Baby Samoa. There's some big dudes. And then you look at Guerrilla Militia, and it's like, well, they make the big dudes look not so big. They're so big, they make the big dudes look not big.
Well, and these guys are absolute monsters. You hear all the time, monsters among men, like, you hear that whole thing. They're monsters among monsters. I mean, they are huge. That's a good point that the guy made there. Judging by what happened in Hot Blooded, I have an inkling that Phoenix may join them. And there's a whole thing there. And Franco was talking about it on the podcast last week, that they don't take that lightly. If they offer you a shirt, if they offer you a place in the militia, they don't take that lightly at all. That's something big. So we'll have to see how that goes. I don't know if you've had a chance to see it yet, but a challenge being thrown out, the proverbial gauntlet being thrown down to Funny Bone. Funny Bone making his appearance at BCW, and our guest this evening, the living proof Jastin Taylor, throwing that gauntlet down. Let's go ahead and bring him in.
Round of applause.
Jastin, what's up, man? Glad to have you on the show.
What up, guys? How are y'all? It is good to be here.
Well, we're doing great. We're glad to have you, man.
We are. We're happy to have you on the show. We're glad to finally get to sit down and talk about it.
We've been waiting for this since our first BCW show.
So,
I am all jacked up and ready to go, man. So what we gonna talk about? What we got to say tonight?
We got all sorts of things to talk about tonight. So, of course, you've been in the business for a minute, 12 years. You've been all over the U.S. You've been all around the promotions, WWE, AEW, Ring of Honor, Evolve, Anarchy Championship, and, of course, Squared Circle Pro and BCW. Tell us a little bit about that. What was it like getting into the business and making it from there to where you're at now?
Wow. Well, man, where to even begin with that story? It's a long one. I mean, like you said, I've been in the wrestling business a minute. I'll try to be short and sweet with it. Like, I think everybody sort of has that story about how they got into wrestling, how they became a wrestling fan, and mine in that way is pretty cliche. You know, I've been somebody who's loved wrestling since I was little. So you know, I grew up watching era, the eras of the '80s with Hulk and Macho Man and Sergeant Slaughter and all of those guys. So when I was a kid, that's what I grew up on. And as I grew up, you know, and growing up and being a '90s kid in the Attitude Era was like amazing. Like, you know, because that was when everybody was just watching wrestling. And whether you were watching WCW Nitro or you were watching Raw is War, I think that's what they called it at that time, right?
Yeah. Raw is Jericho.
You know, it was just hours and hours of entertainment. And I mean, I used to soak it all up like a sponge because Nitro used to have a replay. You know, you like it would the live show would come on and then they'd have a replay afterwards. So my friends and I we had a system. We watched Raw because you know they only have showing of that on USA. Then we would after 3 hours of that, we watched that replay of Nitro. So I'm thinking about it now. I'm like, man, on Mondays I was watching 6 straight hours of wrestling and just wasn't tired of it at all. And I think that just being able to watch wrestling so long and just never getting tired of it just sort of made me realize you know, in high school and everything, like, man, I really love this, don't I? You know, it's never it's wrestling was never anything I had to think about. I just gravitated to it the moment I saw it and really just never let go. So but you know, I'm living in a small town in Midland, Texas. There was no such thing as training facilities or wrestling schools where you could go to. You know, there was no Dustin Rhodes Academy at that time, or Steve reality of wrestling or anything like that. You know, there was nowhere where you could just go and train, or at least I had no concept of that, you know, growing up in Midland, Texas. So wrestling always seemed like this thing that I would always be a fan of, but would never get the opportunity to do. And then you fast forward all the way to, you know, now I'm out of high school now, and I'm in college now. And I just happened to be home on a college break. I was, you know, going to school in Morehouse in Atlanta, Georgia. And so I was back here in Midland, Texas on a summer break, and it met some friends at a summer job. I used to work at the movie theater, and I met some friends, and we connected on wrestling. So we all would watch it together. We would have these watch parties, things like that. And I wound up going to this live show in Amarillo, Texas. It's called Top of Texas now in Amarillo, Texas, and they still run out there. But at the time, it was the NWA Southwest PWF. Try fitting that on a T-shirt. But you know, so you know, they were this you know, Amarillo promotion affiliated with the NWA. So that's where I got my start, and I'm just out in the crowd watching it with my friends, and some of those friends you may know who they are. Ryan Justice, Wild Card are some of those friends that I'm talking about. So we're there watching the show, and we're being rowdy fans. We're making noise, you know, we're cheering, we're booing. You know, there was no way you could notice us at this show. We were just so excited to be there because it was one of our first live indie shows. So after the show is over, promoter walks up to us and he goes, "Hey, have you guys got pretty good looks? Like, have you ever thought about being a wrestler?" And I was like, "What?" Like somebody is asking me this question, and I'm like, "Well, you know, we don't have train. You know, we're from 3.5 hours out, we live back home in Midland. That's nothing we've ever thought about, but shoot, we would love to give it a try. And he said, okay, well, you know what? Why don't the three of you guys, you stay here till after the show. I'll let you guys get in the ring and roll around with some of our guys in the locker room. And it was like the opportunity of a lifetime. To a fan, somebody going, hey, we're going to let you get in the ring. We're going to let some guys from the roster come out and show you some of the basics just to see if you like it. It was just the chance of a lifetime, kind of the taste of the other side of that curtain, especially just being an avid fan at that time. And long story short, I got in there and they showed us, okay, this is how a person would run the ropes. And I don't know if it was just years of watching it or muscle memory or whatever it was, but in 2 or 3 tries, I was running the ropes. And then they were like, huh? What? Like some of them were actually surprised, and then they were like, okay, well, why don't you why don't you try this? Why don't you try this is what a bump looks like. And I was like, okay, boom, just dropped and did it. And was like, do I need to do more? And they were like, yeah, do a few more. And so I was able to do some of these things fairly quickly. And I can't explain it. I don't know what it was. I'm not like some, Division I athlete or anything like that. I was just at that time, I was just a fan who watched this a lot. But for some reason, I could do it. And after that was over, after we all sort of did our thing, they were like, okay, the three of you need to come back and start training immediately. You have a talent for this. You guys have something special. We haven't seen 3 guys to do so quickly, learn something that quickly and retain it. They were like, you guys need to come back. And the rest of history, Ryan, while started going up there to train, we would drop 3 hours just to try, with them. And that's this history. Eventually, we became active members of that roster. And that's where my journey started.
Wow, man.
That's
Crazy
crazy.
how it works. Like Mike said, Prodigy was born.
Yeah, Mike. That's right. Mike in the chat saying the prodigy was born, and I kind of understand what you're saying. Granted, we didn't get to do anything quite as cool as that, but myself, Little Guapo, Bruce, we got to jump in the ring over at Pro Wrestling 101, and we got to run the ropes. We got to do some of the bumps and everything, and from a fan standpoint,
It was so
that
much. Oh my
that
God.
was great. Kind of like you said, dream come true. We were in a ring.
That's what we kept trying to reiterate. Just run, just running the ropes was like, man, I dreamed of this as a kid, So
Yep.
it was
It was a dream come true for us. And then from those starts, I'm just going to run a short list of people you've been in that squared circle with. And this is going to be kind of a surprise, I think, to Little Guapo, some of these names, because, wow, Matt Hardy, Charlie Haas, Shelton Benjamin, Cheeseburger, Chavo Guerrero, X-Pac, Billy Gunn, Raven, Scott Steiner. Been in the ring with legends like Jerry Lawler and Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Fuego del Sol, Simon Gotch, Dak Draper. I mean, and that's just the short list.
man, that's crazy. That's crazy.
It's insane to think about it over that 12-year span, because 12 years is not that long when you're doing something you love. But in that span, all of these names that people like me, people like Little Guapo grew up watching, with the Matt Hardys and the Shelton Benjamins, Billy Gunns, Raven, Scott Steiner. We grew up watching these people and knowing that you've been in the ring with them. That's just awesome.
Yeah, that's wild.
I do want to ask, of those, Did you have a favorite match or a favorite tag team or something that just really stayed with you?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I appreciate you guys doing that and running down that list and everything. I'm a braggart, I guess you could say, when it comes to wrestling. I I feel like I just try to let my work speak for itself. I try not to be that person that name drops, you know what I mean? Because sometimes people are kind of like, and I don't know, maybe some people would go, no, you should brag about it. That's something you should say. You should say those things. And I get that side of it too, but I don't know. I guess I've always been a person of, I just want my work uh, to speak for itself. But no, I've been very fortunate to have wrestled these guys, tagged with some of these guys, learned from some of these guys. It's been, I've been one of the most fortunate people in the world. And if you ever hear people saying, oh yeah, Jastin is, without a shadow of a doubt, the best wrestler in West Texas, that's probably why. That's probably why is they're thinking about just all of that and going, ain't nobody else have done that. That's just wrestling here locally where I can see them and they've been in the ring with all those guys. So I think that's where a lot of that stuff comes from. But for me, man, I just look and I go, wow, man, look at all I've done. And the funny thing is, I still want so much more. Like, I'm still like so hungry to see where I can go and kind of get further than that. But anyway, narrowing it down to just one of those matches or one of those experiences that was great, I think I'm going to go with the first person that you mentioned, Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy is responsible for giving me my first hour-long wrestling match because that's how long we wrestled. We wrestled 55 minutes. And I'll pull back the curtain for a little bit. I don't often tell this story, but I'll go ahead and tell it here. I trust you guys. I feel like you guys will appreciate this, and hopefully the listeners will appreciate this too. But I just remember being back there in the locker room, and not the sport, and this was for old school wrestling. So I think I should say that a lot of these matches that I've had was the result of me being the champion of old school wrestling, which was a promotion started by the dearly departed friend Urban Makey, rest in peace. Great man, great promoter. Really was somebody who brought back the spark of independent wrestling here in West Texas. You may not hear a lot of people mention that, but honestly, I feel like if it wasn't for Fred, it being like your SPCWs, your Squared Circle Pros, your Rampages, whatever you're talking about in West Texas, OSW was really the first promotion to like indie promotion here in West Texas to like just be super successful in that way. And so Matt Hardy was going to be my opponent for this champion match. And so I just remember going back there and approaching him to, kind of figure out what we were going to do for this match. And him going, I think we're going to Broadway tonight. And for people who don't know that term, the Broadway is like, the top living bar or whatever. And I'm like, what? And it was like, man, and he said something that just stuck, that sticks with me to this day. It was like, I believe in you. I've seen your work. I saw the pro you cut against me, and he went to a training session that we had at Old School Wrestling the night before, and he after watching you, I believe that you wrestle at a high level, and I think if anybody could go with me for that length of time in that ring, it's you. And that is one of the like best compliments, the best things that I think anybody has told me when it comes to wrestling, because it's one thing for, like a fan or a family member or somebody like that to be like, oh yeah, you're a good wrestler, you can go in that ring. But it's another thing to hear that from your peers. It's another thing to hear that from somebody who, like Matt Hardy, who is, for all purposes, is a wrestling champion. This man has done everything. He's been at the top of this profession and then some. So to hear something like that, it just motivated me. And I've never wrestled a match, I think, that hard, with that much passion, with that much want to prove something. And so it's matches like that, it's experiences like that, that really inspire me to be this living proof person and embody what the living proof means. Because, hey, man, if I could be proof that somebody from little old Midland, Texas, can come all this way and be wrestling somebody like Matt Hardy an hour, why can't other people do what they aspire to do? Why can't other people live dreams and do things they want to do and live their best life? So why not be a model for that, and why not continue to do that? Because that's what wrestling has instilled upon me, so that's what I want to instill upon other people.
That's awesome.
Hey.
Man, what a story. Before we move on with this, gotta take a quick second. Guerrilla Militia, Franco D'Angelo showing up in the chat saying, the things you've done are awesome, but have you ever been in a militia? Could we having kind of an invite going there? Could we see some Jastin and militia going on there?
Man, am I big enough to be in a militia? I don't know. I consider myself in pretty good shape, but man, those guys are like, they're like skyscrapers compared to me. Man. I don't know.
Gotta be like a height requirement or something.
The height and weight requirement, you gotta be this
you must
big
be
to ride with the, you gotta be this big to ride with the Guerrilla Militia. So, man, but still, but for him to even say that, for him to even say, hey, man, have you been in a militia, and even entertaining that, I think it's awesome, because I've always been it's not the size of a dog kind of guy. So, but yeah, man, I could do a little bit of barking with the Guerrilla Militia. So we'll see. We'll see.
We'll just have to see what happens there, man. That'd be fun to watch right there.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to turn it over to Little Guapo for a second. He has a question that it's a 3-part question that he asks just about everybody on the show. So I'm going to let him turn it over to him. He's got a question for you.
All right. So there's three people. One that you want to go with right now. That'd be the first. Matt, someone you could want to go with right now that and then the second one, realistically within the next 5 years, someone you want to wrestle, and then your dream match. All three in that order.
Okay. So when you say somebody that I want to go with right now, that feels like somebody either in close proximity, and by that what I mean is maybe somebody on the indies, maybe somebody who I'm in a position to wrestle, but they have high status and stuff like that. I'll try to run these off quickly, but there are 2 people that come to mind. One of them is Kid Bandit. Do you know who that is?
I have not heard of him, no.
Okay, you need to look up Kid Bandit. I'll say a little bit, but you need to look up Kid Bandit. Kid Bandit is an independent wrestler. Amazing wrestler. Very athletic, very...
Oh,
I think we've lost some of the audio.
yeah. your mic cut out. We're not hearing you now.
Yeah, your mic cut out there. I think the guy is working on that. We're gonna hold off on that for just a second while we get that straightened back out. I do want to say, of course, to Guerrilla Militia, welcome to the show. Glad you could make it in. Thanks for being with us last week. Looks like we're getting Jastin back here. Jastin, can you hear us all right?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep. There you are. All right.
Awesome.
So Kid Bandit.
Awesome. Yes, Kid Bandit. So a very, very popular independent wrestler all over the country. The Kid Bandit's been on AEW Dark a few times as well. Kid Bandit has wrestled for a few promotions, like in the Dallas area and stuff like that. But Kid has never been to West Texas. And if you look up Kid Bandit, you'll see that this is somebody who very like stylish, athletic, flexibility-based wrestler. Uses a lot of martial arts, can jump and flip around the ring and everything like that. And I feel like I am a wrestler who embodies a lot of those same tools too. I have athleticism, agility. I have a little bit of martial arts that I bring to the ring. So I think that our styles would mesh perfectly. And also the geek in me, Kid Bandit's an anime and has a lot of gear that resembles different anime characters and things like that. A lot of Kid Bandit's moves are based anime characters and stuff like that. So I just think that I'm always interested in wrestling. I'm interested in wrestling anybody, but I'm always interested to wrestle people who I think are a match for me athletically and physically, because I don't often find that. And sometimes you want to get in there with somebody who's of a similar style or somebody who you think may be a little bit better at what they do than you are, and go, can I match up to that? Can I run to that test? And I would love to bring Kid Bandit to West Texas and let people see what I think would just be an athletic showcase for the ages. I mean, me and that wrestler. And I'll make this one quick because I know I told you to. I'll make this one quick and go to the next categories. But the other one is Myron Reed. Have you heard of him?
Yes.
Surely you've heard of Myron Reed.
Yes.
Sure. Yes. But he's another one that, obviously, if you've heard of him, then, and, he's freak athlete, just an amazing performer. And he's another one who's known internationally all over the world. So I just feel like, I'm not only looking to wrestle people who I think will test me physically and to just, have good matches. I'm the living proof, right? That's what the flag says behind me. I'm all about proving myself. I want to show people that, man, I can wrestle on this level too. And those are two people where I feel like if I can wrestle them and get that on tape, then in the world, I can wrestle anybody. Bring me to California. Bring me to Chicago. Bring me to, Florida. If I can wrestle them, if I can prove that I can go with those guys, that means that I can wrestle anybody. So those would be two immediate ones that are on my dream category. 5 years from now, what the expectation is that I will be wrestling for a major company. That's my dream. That's that. I'm not going to say that's everyone's goal, but I'm not going to be that pompous to think my goals are everyone else's. But that is my goal. That's what I want. So 5 years from now, whether I'm on WWE, Impact Wrestling, All Elite Wrestling, just looking at all those stages and people, I would love to get in the ring with Mr. Boom himself, Adam Cole. That's somebody who I would love to wrestle. I think that Adam Cole is not only a great wrestler, but he's a great storyteller. And I think, and I consider myself a very good storyteller storytelling when it comes to wrestling like that. And I think the promos we could cut against each other, the interactions that we could have in the ring, and then the matches that we could have, I think would just be excellent matches. And he would be someone, back to that theme of proving that I feel like if I could wrestle him, if I could with him, then it would prove a lot to that locker room and people watching. So he would be a dream opponent 5 years from now.
That would be a banger match. God.
Yeah.
And the last one. Yeah. I'm like excited. I'm like getting goosebumps just thinking about it. Because the expectation is, yes, I can get there and I can wrestle one of those guys. Now, unfortunately, this last one can't happen, but it's the dream match of dream matches for me, and that would be against the Olympic champion, the milk drinker, the man who won a gold medal with a broken freaking neck.
Broken freaking neck.
Mr. WWE Hall of Famer Kurt Angle. That is my guy, man. That's my ultimate wrestler. That's my favorite wrestler. I don't know if you've noticed this, but a lot of my singlets are Kurt Angle singlets. I try to throw a little bit of Kurt into my gear and stuff like that. Every now and then you'll see a Kurt Angle move in one of my matches. I think the last time I was at Sports Circle, I used the Angle Slam. So Kurt Angle is a wrestler near and dear to my heart. And that's somebody who, if I could wrestle, if there was magic or something, and I could make it happen, it would be against him. Because to roll around with that guy, to learn from that guy, to see if I could match that intensity and that wrestling knowledge and that physicality that Kurt Angle used to bring on a night after night basis, man, I want that challenge. So yeah, that would round out my personal dream match.
Yeah, you put 2005 Kurt Angle in the ring with any wrestler in their prime, and it's like he could compete with any of them. Any wrestler, any era in their absolute prime. 2005 Kurt Angle can compete with any of them.
Oh, agreed. Absolutely.
Exactly. And I think that there was that period of time that you're talking about, 2005, and maybe a year or two after that. I think he was the best wrestler on the planet. I think there are times where you have a certain handful of wrestlers where you can look at them and say, man, during that time, there was nobody better. And I think it was him during that time.
I agree. It was for me. It was him and Shawn Michaels around that time. That was the two greatest.
There you go.
Well, I would say any of those matches, any of the matches you just said would be banger matches, and I'd pay big money to watch any of them. That would be great. But let's talk a minute about a match you've got coming up. Of course, you put out a challenge, like we said earlier, threw the gauntlet down to the father of filth, the demigod of death, the one and only Funny Bone. And in your promo for that, you mentioned fear and how you can do one of two things. You can either rise up against the fear, or you can succumb to it. And that really resonated with me, because I ain't gonna lie, Funny Bone's kind of a scary dude. But the message there of you can either, face it or fail. I mean, walk us through that. And we've got a question in the chat from Mike. He says, so why the Funny Bone challenge? What are you looking for there? What are you hoping to gain from challenging Funny Bone?
Well, wrestling is all about challenging yourself. At least for me, it is. When it comes to wrestling, I'm always looking at what's next. What's next for Jastin? What is the next thing that I can challenge myself with? And I'm looking to wrestle people of different styles. And when I found out that Funny Bone had made the announcement that he was coming to BCW, just coming to kind of dip his toes in to the West Texas water, if you will, I look at somebody, Funny Bone, who is very, very accomplished. I mean, especially when you look in his area, this is a guy who's been on MLW. This is a guy who's wrestled against some great people in the ring. I saw a match where he was wrestling against Karrion Kross, and I've seen matches where he was wrestling against TJ, guys like that. So in a lot of ways, you could say that in that area, and I want to say his main areas like Las Vegas and stuff like that. He's probably me. You know, he's the equivalent of me, just in another location. He's the most accomplished guy over there. He's wrestled all the matches. He has that big reputation, you know? So maybe if Vegas was a different universe of wrestling, he would be who I am over here in West Texas. So even though we're so monumentally different, you know, even though we're so different, you know, this guy, I come out with a flag, this guy wears face paint and wears the skin of dead animals sometimes or whatever, you know, he has on. He's very unorthodox dude. But that's a challenge. I want to be challenged by that. I see him and he intimidates everybody with whether it's his demeanor, it's his aggressive style. He's very smash mouth. He comes at you, and this is somebody who throws entire body at you. So he's coming. He's always 100 miles an hour, never going lower than that. And I need that challenge. I need that. I need to test myself against that. I need to see if I have what it takes to stand against a force like Funny Bone. And so you're going to come into West Texas and think that you're going to come here and just dominate everybody and just pick and choose, you know, and just sort of pick whoever you want and just sort of pick at their bones, so to speak, and bully them and just intimidate them. You got another thing coming, man. I'm pretty protective about the West Texas territory. So if you're going to come in here and say that you're going to dominate, you got to do that. You got to go through me, man. You got to go through the one here in West Texas. So that's why I laid down the challenge.
Well, and the promo was great, man. The way you put the challenge out was awesome, and it did make its way out into the world. And you know, I've never been one to really drop something on people, but I want to let you know, we here at Not Your Average Mark Wrestling Podcast have actually received a response to your promo from Funny Bone.
Really?
And I'd like to, if I can get the guy to cue it up, I'd like to go ahead and play that for you now.
See, what I use to defeat my opponents isn't fear. No, boy. It's reality. It's the reality of my elbow crashing into your unready jaw. And it's my feet stomping into your soft tissue. The reality of your neck snapping when I drop you on your head.
Oh boy.
You, young man, are gonna find a new definition of pain in the reality I bring to you. For I am the father of filth, the original nightmare, your demigod of death. Funny Bone is my name. I come for your soul.
Golly.
Wow. That was kind of
Wow.
Wow.
That dude's creepy as hell. I have to throw that out there. But that is his response to what you put out there. So I'm interested to hear what you've got to say about that.
Okay. Well, Funny Bone definitely has an interesting way of saying yes, accept your challenge. That was wow. That was pretty amazing. I'll say this. I'll say this. As you can see there, this man has a way with his words. He knows how to intimidate. He knows how he said that, oh, the fear is in your head, but the reality is I'm going to crush you with this elbow. I'm going to drop you on your head. All of that was great stuff. But there was one thing he said at the beginning that really stood out to me. And it's the thing that I'm going to use as motivation for these next few weeks that I'm going to be training and getting ready for this match. Right there, Funny Bone, you said, and I'm talking to him right now. Maybe he's listening, or maybe he'll hear this recording of this later. So, Funny Bone, I'm going to talk to you for a second. You said at the beginning of that I am just another wrestler claiming that you are somebody that uses fear. And the two words I want to focus on are another wrestler. Well, let me tell you this, Funny Bone. You are not stepping into the ring with just another wrestler, as you put it. You're going to be stepping into the ring with a living proof Jastin Taylor. And trust me when I say this, I make fools out of people who think that I am just another wrestler, because I've got 12 plus years to people that I'm more than that. I got 12 plus years of showing people that I am more than what they think I am. I am more than meets the eye. And on September, when we get to Rise, you're going to find out the hard way. And that's going to be your reality.
Damn. There you go. Big words from Jastin Taylor. And you know what? I feel like Funny Bone's not ready for you. Funny Bone, as you said, hugely accomplished. But I don't think he's stepped into the ring with somebody like Jastin Taylor. I'm going to stop everything for just a second. I just got a note in the chat here. Mikey says he just received a message from owner of BCW, Terry Pantera, that Jastin versus Funny Bone is on for Live to Rise. The winner of this match will go to Guthrie, Oklahoma the following Friday and wrestle Sam Stackhouse for the BCW Heavyweight Championship.
So now not only is there implications going on. Whoo!
Tommy Pantera beating the vibe. Now I'm wrestling. Now it's not even just, man. It would have been enough to wrestle for my pride. It would have been enough to wrestle Funny Bone to prove a point. But now you're saying that if I win, I get a shot at Sam Stackhouse, who is another great independent wrestler. All over Oklahoma, all over the country. Hell yes. That's all I have to say, man. Man, I got some training to do. Can we stop? Well, I need to go to the gym right now. This is making me want to hit some weights and do some cardio right now, man. That's awesome. Hell.
That is insane. Well, man, the news just never stops dropping here on the Not Your Average Mark Wrestling podcast. What an announcement, man. Sam Stackhouse. You get your chance not only at Funny Bone, but at Sam Stackhouse for the BCW Heavyweight Championship. That's insane. Wow.
Man.
So, what'd you say, son?
So it never stops around here.
It doesn't. And, of course, a big thank you to Mike for throwing that out there for us. That's just, wow. And making a good point. Jastin does have to win this match in order to get to Guthrie, Oklahoma to take on Sam Stackhouse for the BCW Heavyweight Championship. I'm not sure. It looks like maybe we're having a little bit of an internet issue with Jastin right now, so I'm going to throw a couple of things out there. What an announcement. I'm still trying to take that all in. Wow. The guy saying that Jastin's too stunned to talk right now.
Yeah,
And
he really did. He just alt F4'd and he's on his way to the gym already.
Yeah, that's what really happened. His screen's not frozen. He just put that there so he could take off to the gym, get ready to make this work. Wow, man, what an announcement. And I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be a great match. Excuse me. Jay Conrad saying that he unplugged on the way to the gym. I'm excited for this. I'm not going to lie. Funny Bone, that dude's creepy as hell.
Yeah.
And I saw Wildcard say that there wasn't sound to that. If you weren't able to hear that, I know we could hear it, Jastin could hear it, but I'm not sure how it sounded on the stream. If you weren't able to hear that after the stream is over, we'll put that out there as well with provided we get the permission to do so. But man, it was creepy.
Yeah. Cool. All right.
The guy saying he fixed it after Wildcard said that, and of course that's why he is the guy, because he can do things like that. He's in the process of trying to get Jastin back. So there you have it. As far as what Jastin had to say, he wants the challenge. He wants he's not intimidated. He's not scared. He's not worried. He wants that challenge.
And he's gone.
What are your thoughts on it, son? What do you got?
Man, one thing that Jastin talks about a lot that I believe makes him as great as he is, whenever what you discuss and when you go into a match and your promo is centered around, if it correlates to the ring, but you can relate to it outside of the ring as well. You know what I mean? Like in life in general, not just in the ring. It makes for great, like you say, he's a great storyteller in the ring, and that makes for being a great storyteller. And that's what I love about wrestling, the story aspect. And
it looks like we've got Jastin back. Jastin, can you hear us all right?
Am I back?
You're back.
Yes, I can.
That was a
There's
quick
no
gym trip.
technology. Of course that would happen.
We're letting everybody know that you just kind of put a something up there so you could take off to the gym. I was just telling everybody that you're taking off to the gym, just putting some up there for them to see. One thing that
Yep.
one thing that Little Guapo was just saying that really resonates with him about you is your ability to tell a story in the ring, and something we had discussed before the podcast. Storytelling, not something that's foreign to you. When you step aside from the living proof Jastin Taylor to everyday Jastin Taylor, you are a bit of a writer, writing screenplays, writing scripts, things like that. Am I right there?
Yes, sir. I have a huge interest in movies and cinema. So movie scripts, I've got about 5 films that I'm sitting on and still, ironing out the kinks and, trying to get them as tight and as perfect as they could be. But, and I've got a ghost story that I think is missed. It's like a 3 kind of Sixth Sense-ish type of story, haunted house story. And my hope is that at some point I will be able to make a movie, or I will at least see one of my stories on screen. I want to go to the big screen one day and see something that I've created. So yeah, that's another dream of mine, outside of what I'm trying to do with professional wrestling.
Yeah, I was about to say, Mikey said it. I was like, go ahead and give your podcast a plug out here. Talking about your Cinema Slayers podcast.
Oh yeah.
So you
Oh
got an
yeah.
interest in movies, go give them a follow.
Cinema Slayers, yes, that is another thing that I do. Cinema Slayers. Yeah, Cinema Slayers podcast. You can find on Facebook. Yeah, we review movies. We talk about we do cinema discussion. We do all that kind of stuff. And I've got two podcasts that are out in Chicago. One of them was a childhood friend, Sterling Condre. The other one, Heather, was someone that in Chicago, we all became good friends. And yeah, we watch and review movies every week. So check us out, Cinema Slayers Podcast.
It doesn't seem like there's a whole lot that you can't do, man. You're writing scripts, you're breaking down movies on a podcast. You're the living proof Jastin Taylor, in the ring, out of the ring. Man, I cannot wait to see where all of this goes for you. And I told you the very first time I saw you on BCW back in April, I think it was.
Yeah.
That if I didn't see you on a major promotion in the next year, I would be shocked. And I stand by that as much today as I did then.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, man. And I mean, really, the journey that I've seen, Not Your Average Mark podcast made, has been great. When I first met you guys and you did BCW show, we're thinking, man, those are some cool guys. They seem really enthusiastic and excited about wrestling. Way to go there. And I just thought maybe this would just be sort of a BCW thing. And then you guys told me, like, no, we're going to be getting a podcast together. We're going to be trying to visit some of the other West Texas shows. And now look at you guys. You've done commentary for some shows. You got this podcast and it's growing, and you're having all kinds of great guests on here. I really enjoyed one called Manders when he was on here.
That was a show.
He was as nice as I was, probably, as a guest, but boy, was he entertaining. So, like, but I'll shout out to Manders, man. He's a really cool dude. And God, man, him and Ryan went at that last.
Oh man, what a match that was! Oh my gosh.
Here and there, you guys are too. Yeah. You guys are growing too. So I mean, and that's why I always say that the whole message behind the Living Proof is really for everybody, because in some sort of way, everybody is trying to prove themselves doing something. Everybody carries some sort of flag. Mine may say the Living Proof on it, but I think we all carry like metaphoric flags, if you will. Some people are just trying to protect their family. Some people are just trying to make it a great access to wrestling, especially wrestling in this area. And some people are trying to go out there and be great wrestlers. Whatever the goal is, strive to live in that you can be proud of, man. That's what life is all about. That's what the journey is all about. And that's all I'm trying to do, guys. And thank you for playing a significant role in my journey, the role that you guys have played and will continue playing.
We're, of course, absolutely happy to do it. And I know that following you has been something, of course, I enjoy, but being the fans of wrestling that they are, I know Little Guapo and Bruss have really enjoyed following your career as well.
Yeah, he was upset that he wasn't going to be able, like, Bruss was upset that he's not able to be a part of this podcast. He's been waiting, since we started. He's like, man, I can't wait to get on with Jastin. And then, we get you on, and he can't make it. He's out doing college. So, but yeah, we appreciate everything you've done for us.
That can only mean one thing. I got to come back.
Exactly. Anytime. You're welcome.
Of course, you're welcome anytime on our podcast. And I'm looking over, we are at that 9:25 mark, so we're at our last 5 minutes. So, Justin, I'm going to turn it over to you for any final thoughts you'd like to throw out there.
Sure. All I want to say, man, is I know there are probably a lot of people that will be looking at this or are on with us right now that are probably in the West Texas area, probably whether you're promoting your part of shows in the West Texas area. All I want to say is this: let's all strive and let's all try to Texas wrestling the best that it can be. And that goes out to everybody that may be listening to this, because in some of my travels across, I have heard for far too long that West Texas wrestling is a lower tier area when it comes to professional wrestling. And I'm tired of hearing that. I'm tired of people being like, oh man, you're actually good and you come from there. Man, I'm sick of hearing that. When I go to other places, when I go to other locations, wrestling is thriving here just like it is in any other area. And here is rich with so much time, with so many people that can get in that ring and go. And we have some of the most entertaining shows, I think, that can be act when it comes to professional wrestling. So I think we all owe it to Texas wrestling. We all owe it to people like Terry Funk, rest in peace, who really was the pioneer and who really sung the praises of West Texas wrestling and made West Texas wrestling something that people wanted to see, that people wanted to check out, and people wanted to see featured on things. So I think we all owe it to ourselves to be the best that we can be, to go out there, whatever show we on, plug it, support it. Our local brothers and sisters that are out here doing the same thing that I'm trying to do, be the best wrestler they can possible. But it takes a village, man, and I think it's going to take all of us to raise the reputation and to raise ultimately the respect level when it comes to Texas wrestling. So I'm up to challenge. I'm going to keep doing what I can, and even now I'm starting to see things turn around with more people from Dallas and Houston starting to come over here, wrestle, to hone their craft, to wrestle some of us. So I just want to say that is a good sign. And it's great that all those are filling up buildings and having successful shows. But we got to do more. We got to keep stepping up, and we can't get complacent. So keep working hard. Keep busting your ass, busting my ass, and let's grow this thing together, and let's continue to make West Texas wrestling something to where it is finally the talk of Texas wrestling.
Amen.
All right, Jastin got me ready to go to the gym now.
Now it's time for me to go.
Well, let's go.
Russ, making its appearance in the last 2 minutes. We were just telling Jastin how much you were upset about having to miss tonight's show.
Yeah. Sorry, it's
No.
Yeah, I'm really happy to be here, man. I just knew that something was gonna happen where we'd be able to at least get this little moment, just because you're just like, that's just how the world works around here.
He said he's got to get back on here, so that way you can have a conversation with him.
Heck yeah.
Yep.
Well, with our last couple of minutes, son, you got any final thoughts?
Oh yeah, we're gonna do it for sure.
Heck yeah.
As far as final thoughts, big month for wrestling. You got Payback Saturday, All Out Sunday, Live to Rise next week, Birth Anniversary the week after that, or 2 weeks after that. No, week. 2 weeks? I don't know. But big month. The independent scene is popping. Like, seriously, make it out. Both of these shows if you can. You're really missing out not supporting your local independent scene. Guys like Jastin, Jeb, Ryan, everybody, man. I've not seen a bad match yet, and it's amazing. So come out, be there or be square.
Heck yeah.
Russ, you got anything you want to add to that?
Man, just same thing we've been saying every time, man, that the independent scene is, not a lot of money for like thousands of dollars worth of talent. Like it is genuinely phenomenal what we get to watch out there. So be there.
Or be square.
As for myself, my final thoughts, if you're not, you've got 2 opportunities this month just right here in our area to go watch some West Texas independent wrestling. And if you don't have your tickets yet, get them now, because I can tell you, you will not see anything like you will see at a BCW show, a Squared Circle Pro show, anywhere else. I've said it before, most of these cards, you could take any match on it and put it anywhere else, and it would be a main event card. So make sure you get your tickets. Make sure you get out there. Jastin, again, thank you for being on the show. We, of course, enjoy having you here, and you're welcome back anytime. Thank you to everybody in the chat for keeping the chat popping.
Don't forget the VIP tickets for BCW.
That's right. And something Bruss missed, those VIP tickets today and tomorrow, 2 for $50.
Oh.
So join us next week. We'll be out here Thursday, 8 p.m., where we will have Jeb, the Wild Card Bingham, and Gabriel Alexander on the show head-to-head. Do not miss that. Until then, I'm Guapo. That's Bruss. That's Little Guapo. And we are not your average Mark. We'll see y'all next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.